Today in cannabis news, the Maine State Senate strikes down a House-passed drug decriminalization measure. A U.S. House committee witness attests that Congresspeople should tour cannabis companies together to minimize partisan politics. And Apple begins to allow apps from cannabis companies or dispensaries on its App Store, while Google continues to prohibit them. It's Tuesday, July 6th, and this is your TRICHOMES Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the TRICHOMES.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, a measure that would have decriminalized possession of all presently illegal substances was struck down in the Maine State Senate. The defeat for reform proponents comes just 2 weeks following the House of Representatives passing the bill. The bill, as approved by the House, would have rendered the penalty of individual possession of restricted drugs to a $100 ticket without jail time. If an individual underwent a substance usage evaluation within 45 days after being fined, the fee might have been dropped. State Senator Mark Lawrence proposed an amendment that would have restricted the civil infraction to a first and second violation, with the second violation penalized by a possible $200 ticket and assignment to a substance usage evaluation. A third infraction, and any additional ones, would have stayed criminal acts. However, that moderate accommodation did not receive enough votes to pass. This amendment decriminalizes addiction, Senator Craig Hickman said, and the people of Maine and law enforcement officers on the ground in Maine need us to pass this bill.
Next up, a witness at a recent U.S. House panel hearing presented a novel resolution to congressional partisan disagreements over cannabis policy reform. Opposing legislators should connect while touring cannabis companies. In 2017, a Canadian TV show did just that, taking government officials on a visit to Tweed Main Street, a prominent cannabis manufacturer. This occurred before Canada's federal legalization of cannabis in 2018, when it was solely authorized for medical purposes. Actions like that might be particularly advantageous in the U.S. Congress when it comes to cannabis, as recent surveys show that a bipartisan majority of Americans favor eliminating prohibition, with the majority backing spanning partisan lines. However, when legalization measures were brought up for a vote in the House last year, the deep party divide did not represent the choice of voters, with only 5 Republicans voting in favor and 6 Democrats voting in opposition.
And last up, one of the most recent cannabis advancements to emerge from the tech field is the Apple Corporation's decision to stop preventing cannabis delivery platforms from being housed on its App Store. Last month, the rule was revised to lift the restriction, although with some conditions. For example, a cannabis app must be geo-restricted to states where cannabis is legalized. On the other hand, in 2019, Google's Android App Hub revised its rules to expressly restrict apps that connect users with cannabis, regardless of whether it is legalized in the user's region. Previously, Apple's App Store policy stated that apps that encourage consumption of tobacco and vape products, illegal drugs, or excessive amounts of alcohol are not permitted on the App Store. Apps that encourage minors to consume any of these substances will be rejected. Facilitating the sale of controlled substances, except for licensed pharmacies, marijuana or tobacco, is not allowed. The updated policy states that facilitating the sale of controlled substances, except for licensed pharmacies and licensed or otherwise legal cannabis dispensaries or tobacco, is not allowed. The policy continues, apps that provide services in highly regulated fields, such as banking and financial services, healthcare, gambling, legal cannabis use, and air travel, or that require sensitive user information, should be submitted by a legal entity that provides the services, and not by an individual developer.
That was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit trichomes.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts like Hash It Out, Careers in Cannabis, or the International Cannabis Conversation, wherever you get your podcasts. For trichomes.com, I'm David Fortin.
And I'm Devin Leal. Have a great day.